much money. These games need to be regulated. Mobile games should not be able to financially ruin you more than drug addiction.
In my opinion, this is what I think that games should do. It's very simple. I think there should be 2 rules. Number 1, you can never buy anything in a video game that you don't know what you're getting. The outcome needs to be direct. There can be no gambling mechanism. There can be no, oh, you're buying a chance to get something. Nope. Nothing. If you want to buy Topaz in Honkai Star Rail, you should be able to just go to the store and buy that exact character, and that should be the only way that you can get her. No gamba, no, oh, well, this doesn't, like, oh, well, you know, you do a spin or something like this. Nope. I think microtransactions are totally fine, but the people should buy them knowing what they're going to get. There is no advantage to the consumer that it is a gambling mechanism. There is literally no advantage. It is purely a net negative for consumers. It is that simple. They need dopamine? Yeah, exactly. That's less money for the company? Yeah, well, that's what they get. And isn't hard pity like a price tag? No, because everything besides that, you don't have the price tag. You're right that the hard pity is the price tag, but to the extent that you allow people to go after it without it being a certainty, then it's no longer a price tag. No, the fact is that you can spend money. Is there an instance of you being able to spend money and not know what you get? In Honkai Star Rail, the answer to that is yes. So then it shouldn't exist. It doesn't matter if, oh, well, eventually if you spend enough, then you know what you're going to get. No, every single transaction should be like that. It's not like, oh, you have to do 50 transactions and then you finally get it. No, every single one should be like that. That's number 1. Number 2, the other thing is I think they should make it to where there are no secondary currencies. 0. Every single thing in the store is shown as its current, like the local store value or local currency value. So like pesos if you're in Mexico, yen if you're in Japan, dollars if you're in the US, and I don't know, like maple syrup if you're in Canada. I don't know what they use for money up there. But either way, you should only be able to look at it from the dollar amount. The secondary currencies that these games have, the only purpose they serve is to obfuscate the viewer and make it harder for the viewer to understand how much money they're spending. This is clearly bad. And any normal person would say this is bad. They have no other purpose other than that. They don't make anything easier. Like if it said it's $2.69, how is that any better or worse fundamentally than saying it's 1,000 tokens? You see what I'm saying? Try telling that to EA and Ultimate Team. Well, it's all of them. They all do this. What people that save up and get the character for free? Well, then that would be fine. They'd still be able to do that. The intent is to make your money have less value? Yes. There should never be a secondary currency. Secondary currencies in these games exist for the only purpose to make it harder for you to understand how much money you're wasting. Which is like fundamentally like kind of fraud, right? Like it's basically they're trying to defraud you out of spending your own money.
Regulating these games and banning egregious monetization like this is something I'd really love to see. Get rid of free-to-play entirely, and if anything, live service games should just switch to subscription only, or an expansion.
I don't know. I don't think that, like, I mean, League of Legends doesn't have a lot of gacha as far as I know. Neither does Valorant. I mean, there are plenty of games that don't have this. You just can't, like, if a game cannot exist without having gambling or without having some form of gacha mechanic, then maybe it doesn't deserve to exist. If your argument is that, oh, well, then we can't make any money, well, then find a better business model. Like, what is the logic in, oh, well, we have to do something that's unethical and damaging to people because if we don't, then we can't make any money? As if they have some sort of right to be able to make money having a video game. Get the fuck out of here. This is outrageous.
Model. No microtransactions, period. I don't think that's what's going to happen. There's likely no turning back.
Oh, I don't agree with that. I think that microtransactions are totally fine. I think that if Blizzard or any of these companies, Hoyoverse, wants to put up a character or an item in a game and they want to charge $1,000 for it, and you go on the store and it says this is $1,000, I completely support them being able to do that. Absolutely. Because it is a decision that the buyer and the seller go into. The buyer has full knowledge of what they're going to get. They are not being misled on the price. And whenever they pay the money, they get the thing that they pay for. That is just as fine as buying, in my opinion, a bag from Gucci. Buying a $4,000 Gucci bag is just as fucking stupid, in my opinion, as buying a new character on Honkai Star Rail. They're both dumb. They both probably won't go up in value. You're just telling yourself that to feel better about buying the bag. No, they're not. It's just crazy to me. Or horse armor or something like that. Yes. People can buy what they want to buy. Let people spend their money on things that they want to spend their money on. Now, yes, I think gambling is over the line and gacha mechanics are over the line. However, everything else is totally fine. If you want to give people like, oh, somebody can buy a level boost in the store, let the free market decide whether that's okay or not. It's totally up to them.
From where this industry is at this point, but that's what I really, truly hope to see. In-game monetization has been plaguing the industry for far too long. But now, for my favorite comments.
Well, I also have to say, like, in-game monetization, free-to-play games could not exist without microtransactions. And I don't think that it's wrong to have a free-to-play game with microtransactions. I think I feel like you're massively overstepping whenever you say to a company, you can't make a game that sells skins. You are massively overstepping into their freedom. They have every right to be able to do that. They're not hurting anybody. They're not deceiving anybody. They're not scamming anybody. People go into it and they know exactly what they're getting. Who cares about skins? Well, skins are microtransactions. So that's what we're talking about, like store mounts, yeah.
If you're broke, just say that.
Oh.
Broke boy complaining about pay to win, lol. You legit just sound like the average salty broke guy, Ella.
Yeah, bro, this guy's got some serious rice eater energy. Whenever I heard about that in Korea, that people actually called the free-to-play players rice eaters, that was probably the best thing that had happened to me that entire month. Doesn't it hurt everyone if the devs see them as the primary player base and only make games to whale? Just a question. It does hurt everyone, but it doesn't hurt them in a tangible way. Because making a video game that's bad doesn't really hurt you. Because, like, it's a video game. So, that's not the same thing as, like, making you spend your money. It's a fucking video game.
Mayo, if you're broke and don't have the extra cash flow, just say that. Don't bitch because people have it better off than you and don't have time to play weeks on end like a child. Broke boy.
See, this is the sad comment, is this person is so far into the matrix, they don't even realize that they're plugged in. You wouldn't have to play for weeks on end if the gacha system didn't exist. In Elden Ring, you don't have to play for weeks on end to get a cool item. You just kill a boss and then you get the item. Or you farm a mob and it takes you maybe a couple of hours because they're not incentivized to make you play the game as long as possible. The entire reason that you have to play weeks on end is to incentivize you to spend the extra cash to not have to do it. Because if you didn't have the ability to spend the extra cash, there would be no incentive to make the game take longer.
Broke boy bitchin'.
Broke boy bitchin'. That's just about it, isn't it?
Have you ever wondered what makes...
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to look at some of the comments on this. Oh my fucking God. Complaining of gacha when it's you spending the money. I never had a problem with pay to win. I know how to save money. Yeah, but it's still Gamba, isn't it? Oh shit. Shy Louie, thanks for the raid. What's up, boys? Oh yeah. Look, it's kind of her on the screen, except for, I mean, she's hotter than this one. Let's be honest. Yeah. Hi guys. We're talking about whaling in video games. Let's see here. It's still shit design. It is. It is shit design. So I'm being proud to whale just tells me of how intelligent they really are. I agree. The second comment had to be parody. It is, but it's not. I think everybody knows that. I'm tired of these whales ruining video games. They're the ones that placed the gaming space into this mess in the first place. And to be blunt, if they were gate-kept out of the hobby, maybe it would have been great like in the 2000s or the early 2010s. Guys, I'm sorry to say, but that's not going to happen. Enjoy React hours? Oh, yeah, I'll do my best. Thank you. Thank you for the raid. And yeah, that's just, everybody should be able to play the games the way they want. And I think what's happening is that people that are like older, right? Like now they have, like there are people that didn't like pay to win because they couldn't pay to win. Like this is, it's absolutely like a self-serving ideology. Oh, I hate pay to win because I can't pay to win. So you do have those people, and now that they're like 33 or 35 or 40, now they have the money to pay to win, so they don't hate it as much anymore, right? So you have those people, and then you also have the people that are younger who grew up with these games, and it's normalized to them. So you're burning the candle at both ends of having more and more people not give a fuck about making a game have actual integrity. The younger generation is being brought up where it's okay, and the older generation either drops out of gaming altogether or becomes more okay with it just in general because they have the funds to pay for it. That's what happens, and that's what's been happening. I'll be right back. All right, here we go. Let's watch it. This is the new Genshin Impact version 3.0.
Have you heard of Ermin's Soul before?
No.
The Dendro Archon is known as the God of Wisdom because her consciousness is directly connected to it.
To the people of Sumeru, she's not only a symbol of
Genshin Impact. Oh boy. Uh-oh.
Wait.
Hatham's plan is even more radical than I imagined.
Brothers, let's show them we Eremites are not to be messed with.
Wizar, you betrayed all of Sumeru, betrayed its Archon.
I guess that's a new zone, right? I mean, this is cool.
Human wisdom to create a god.
Yeah, this is.
Will you keep your promise regarding Genshin? Yeah, I'm gonna play it. Bro, this is single player gacha game. People pay real money to beat the CPU. Here's why. The girls are hot. We're gonna take a look at it. Why Genshin Impact is an artistic and technical masterpiece. I'm gonna be real. They spent $100 million a year on this fucking game. It better be an artistic and technical masterpiece. That's a lot of money.
When was the first time a video game truly?
Just because
when was the first time a video game truly made you say, "Wow"? Maybe it was walking out of the vault for the first time in Fallout 3.
I would say the vault in Final Fantasy 14. I would also say Elden Ring, like the Nakud City, the Eternal City, and you go down that shit and you're like, what the fuck? Or Leyndell. Or Dark Souls. I would say that, like, the weird thing with Dark Souls is like the wow moment whenever I beat Dark Souls happened when I beat the game and the credits rolled. I said, what the fuck? That was crazy. Yeah, I feel like there have been a number of good wow moments in games recently. Anne Orlando, yeah. After those little dick boys crawl you over there or fly you over there.
Or maybe it was watching the first Colossus pass you by in Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
But for me, it was the first time I saw the world of Genshin.
I'm gonna be honest too. I actually think Brelshaza Gate 6 was a wow moment fight. And so was Vaulton Gate 2. I actually think that those fights are S tier on a level that no other MMO is actually above. There are fights that are equivalent to that, like Mythic Gul'dan, but I don't think there's anything that is like objectively just better.
An impact.
It's so good. Any wow moments of wow? Yeah, Mythical Dam. That was fucking badass. Ragnaros, heroic,
But
in Phase
why
4
is it so
gets
beautiful
up.
anyway? What's going on behind the scenes here?
Lot
How
of
does
money.
Genshin Impact manage to combine real-life influences with an incredibly convincing 3D anime art style and create something so
I see why it's
unique
popular.
and fresh? The perfectly executed anime art style is a big reason why so many players like myself have developed an unbending loyalty to this game. And it's this exact art style that I want to dissect today. Without further ado, let's explore the art of Genshin Impact.
I know somebody in chat goes and says comparing masterpieces to Genshin. The reality is that I bet Genshin is a masterpiece. I bet honestly the graphics and the style of this game and the way that it plays is probably fucking perfect for what it is. Now it might not be what you want.
The universe of Genshin Impact
that's
was
fine.
created with an outstanding amount of attention to detail upon an intricate framework that contains a surprising amount of reference to the real world. We'll get into that in a bit. Genshin's universe is split between 7 factions, each corresponding
That's
to
a
an
dude, by
element.
the way. I didn't
These
know that.
include
That's
the 4
dude.
elements considered by the
think.
Western cultures as the pillars of the earth, along with other elements derived from Eastern traditions. Each elemental domain has a god, or archon, presiding over them, with their names along with many others directly lifted from Ars Goetia, a pagan grimoire. Even the twins' names, the 2 possible characters a player can
They were in
choose at
one
the
of the
beginning of the
cinematics.
game,
I saw
are
that.
clever
Grimoire.
word name directly lifted from god, or archon. Their elements derived from Eastern traditions. Each elemental domain has a god, or archon, presiding over them, with their names along with many others directly lifted from Ars Goetia, a pagan
From Ars Goetia.
いかなる行動にもリスクはつきものだ。君も気をつけた方がいい。
So this is Genshin Impact, bro, on some South Park shit.
presiding over them, with their names along with many others directly lifted from Ars Goetia, a pagan grimoire. Even the twins' names, the 2 possible characters a player can choose at the beginning of the game, are clever wordplay meant to represent yin and yang energies and the polarity between heaven and earth, combining different elements of ancient religions, Gnosticism.
Man, that's a difference in the way it's designed. You know, like that's a, you know, like damn, they changed that.
And Eastern schools of thought. Genshin Impact became a sampling platter for many profound concepts. What makes this game so great is that its boundless wisdom was neatly packaged into a format that makes it fun and visually appealing. And it's easy to understand why this title became so successful in such a short amount of time.
It's really
when you
nice.
consider that these players were also so successful in
that's what I'm saying. This shit that looks really good. Just objectively, like for the art style that they're trying to go with, that's fucking amazing, man. That looks so good.
Such a short amount of time when you consider that these players were also faced with a unique gaming experience on top of the stunning visuals. The vast open world invites careful exploration, and the intricate storylines honestly kept me glued to my screen for longer than I'd like to admit. In an interview by Pocket Gamer,
my plan with the game is whenever I play this shit, I'm actually gonna play through the whole story. I'm gonna play through the whole story, play through the whole game. I'm gonna do it like I did Final Fantasy.
Toyo's president, Forrest Wei Liu, mentioned that the team's love for Japanese entertainment was the bedrock for creating this game. Although the vast majority of the group, comprising of more than 400 people, were of Chinese descent. Now, this is really interesting to me, since most of the in-game scenes could easily be mistaken for authentic Ghibli movies. An overwhelming number of players also noticed the resemblance to the beloved Breath of the Wild, and Wei Liu confirmed that the cel-shaded Zelda installment was in fact a heavy inspiration for Genshin Impact.
Yeah, of course.
Players can even win a weapon called the Skyward Blade through the Wish system. However, I am here to say that Genshin Impact is a lot more than just a Breath of the Wild knockoff, as it draws inspiration from various games.
I think what happened is like it originally was kind of a Breath of the Wild knockoff, and then after a while it kind of grew its own legs, and it's its own thing now. It's like it might have started like that, but it's not anymore.
and game mechanics,
That's my
including
understanding.
previous MiHoYo games such as Honkai Impact 3rd. And yet, with the visuals being so
Honkai
heavily
Impact.
inspired by existing styles, Genshin Impact has still managed to carve out its own unique artistic identity. To achieve this, the studio used the beloved anime style as a stepping stone and defined the game's visual character through a plethora of cultural motifs anchored in real life. Every location of this game was carefully created to reflect real-life places. The characters, both playable and non-playable, were designed to fit within a cultural background that players all around the world can relate to.
There's no fat people in this game, so I don't know how Americans can play this shit. I've never
True.
seen a single fat person in Genshin Impact. There is? Oh, okay. All right, never mind.
I think this is a perfect time to look into the environment
They're the
design of
bad
Genshin Impact.
guys.
As a horrible artist
They are the
myself,
bad guys.
much of this game's appeal stems from the gorgeous scenery. I actually have a course that teaches you how to create beautiful environments like this using Unreal Engine and Blender, so make sure to check out that link in the description.
Cool.
When designing the world of Genshin Impact, MiHoYo's art department had two things in mind: to develop certain styles that perfectly match the essence of each faction, and making sure to communicate that aesthetic effectively. Now, Genshin Impact was built entirely on a customized version of Unity due to its extensive multi-platform support. Two different render pipelines were put in place, which is quite a strange practice to see for a game like this. However, given the heavily stylized nature of this game, the studio saw it fit to employ two separate pipelines.
Okay.
A PBR pipeline for the environments and a cel-shaded hand-painted pipeline for the characters.
That makes sense, right? Because like you want to have those characters, they need to be hot as fuck, because like that's what's gonna get people to spend money. Because like you have a new character comes out, that's what's gonna, yeah, on God, true, absolutely, yeah. They gotta make those characters just right.
We're going to get into both of those eventually through this video. The first region a player gets to explore is the Anemo Nation, which corresponds to the wind element. The Anemo Nation resides in
remember
the
I got a
city of
question
freedom
wrong
called
in,
Mondstadt. In German, the name
school because of
translates
that.
to Moon City and is heavily inspired by Germanic architecture. The half-timbered houses are reminiscing of medieval German constructions, with their similarity becoming really striking when compared to the houses of the German town Miltenberg.
Damn, that place looks fucking nuts. Holy shit. And people live in there? They have like internet and shit there too, right? I would always be worried if I lived in a place like this that like there wouldn't be like running water. But the reality is I bet there's probably more like conveniences, and the Wi-Fi is probably better here than where I live. I don't know how that happens. Like Nick can go over to Norway in the middle of a fucking rainstorm and have 1080p streams, but he's downtown in Austin getting disconnected.
The city of Mondstadt was built in an oval shape in the center of a lake, which seems to have been inspired by Bern, the capital of Switzerland. In the center of Mondstadt is a giant awe-inducing cathedral, which was most likely inspired by the Grand.
That's interesting to call it Bern, because, you know, that was actually the name of the Lost Ark city of Vern in the Korean version. And Vern also has a cathedral that looks similar to this. And so maybe the Lost Ark city is also derivative of the same thing.
Cathedral
Look at
in
that.
Regensburg. For the environment design itself, the render pipeline takes into account the day and night cycle, weather conditions, as well as the complexity of the environment. All throughout Teviat, you won't find a single big light source. All of the lights and environments are dynamic, including the local ones that contribute to both direct and indirect lighting in the proximity of the player camera. With Genshin Impact, the beauty really is in the details. The use of dynamic shadows all across the game enhance the three-dimensional feel of Teviat. When players walk under a tree, the leaves cast shadows onto their bodies. Volumetric fog of different densities in certain regions or time of day periods come into contact with the local lighting, enriching the atmosphere and creating a unique experience at each part of the day in each different location.
That's cool.
Speaking of volumetrics, I'd love to take a second to point out Genshin Impact's incredible cloud volumetric system. Typically, games will use 2D images of clouds in the background to fake them.
Yeah, I don't know. Can we think of a game like that? That just, you know, puts some fucking white shit up in the air and they say, hey, that's a cloud.
But Genshin Impact has physical, dynamic clouds that move, shift forms, and react to light, casting shadows on the ground below. I'll be diving into these techniques in more detail in my new upcoming series, Game Ready.
Can you get on top
keep
of
an eye
that
for
mountain?
Objects blocking the sun or moonlight create these beautiful God ray effects, coupled with the expert terrain
Nice.
blending and post-effect shaders such as bloom and color remapping. The end result is stunning imagery that could trick most eyes into believing that this scene is actually 2D artwork.
Yeah, I think that looks good. It looks great.
Now, as we go past the walls of Mondstadt, we're met with high mountains and green pastures spreading for miles, which makes the outer area look a lot like the Mondsee area of Austria, which, for record, is also known as Moon Lake. Fun little detail.
That's a nice place. I like to live in a place like this, man. Like, I used to live in a place with like woods and shit, and now I live in a place with like apartments and shit. This sucks.
I found. Special attention was given to the grass of
Yeah, I
Genshin
didn't
Impact
move.
in order to achieve the
Other
painterly
people
look of
moved.
the terrain.
To
The
me.
studio modeled and textured a variety of grass concept motifs. These were then given randomized densities, size, orientations, and multiple sets of grass LODs were
Damn,
grouped
that's a
together,
cat.
and simplified versions were prepared for each set to keep things nice and optimized. Cliffs and mountains also occupy a big portion of most scenes in this game.
Yeah, it
to
was
maintain
cool.
a stylized, consistent look, the studio tried to retain some of the brushstroke effects. The texture applied to rocks comprised 8 different layers, and each of them had 3 different versions to account for detailed differences seen at specific distances.
Oh my
The hand-painted
God.
layers are actually fully procedural and use a lot of cool color blurring and blending techniques to get the desired look. I go over this technique extensively in my stylized texturing course, and I'll leave a link in the description for that one too.
That's
Genshin
nice.
Impact features hundreds of different models of trees, bushes, and other foliage. The team had to employ several shading tricks to make them blend seamlessly into the environment while retaining some of the details. They
I
used
would say that's kind of impressive how they have. I'm gonna just go back real quick. Well, you got Mr. Squirrel here, and his the shadow is on each individual blade of grass. Isn't that nuts? Wow, it's not. No, it's not a cat, guys. Come on, what are y'all, stupid?
They use spherical models for the leaves, along with a technique relying on the angle of the player's camera to clip individual leaves out of the render.
Damn.
The specular and shadows between the leaves were then weakened, and a minimal level of lighting was set to prevent the shadows from looking too dark, which is essential in this painterly Ghibli style. If you look closely enough at the trees, you'll also notice some subsurface scattering on the leaves of the trees.
And like, look at her boobs too. I didn't notice the leaves at all, but look at this.
If you look closely enough at the trees, you'll also notice some subsurface scattering on the leaves of the trees.
Bro, there's like more physics in like one of these characters' boobs than there is in like all of a World of Warcraft raid.
Yeah.
Mimicking an effect we see in real life,
Like the whole
where
thing.
light creates a rim effect on the edges of leaves if sunlight shines through at the right angle. If you venture further into the wilderness on a mercantile route, you'll soon find yourself before a natural landmark called the Stone Gate. From here, the scenery gradually shifts, and the architecture, along with the path, slowly reveals the motifs of a new region, Liyue. Governed by the god of Geo, an element corresponding to Earth, the nation of Liyue resides in a very lively commercial harbor. This is one of my
That's
favorite
cool.
environments in the entire game. The
They had a
architecture of
zone
the
like
city
this in
was heavily
Final
inspired by
Fantasy.
ancient China, featuring
remember I went
warm
there.
color
That's where they
palettes,
had that,
clay shingled rooftops,
jumping
and stilted
puzzle.
houses. For a team of Chinese developers, it was paramount to bring Liyue to a level of perfection, as
Yeah,
to
of
reflect
course.
the gentle yet imposing as to reflect the gentle
looked at
yet
chat the wrong
imposing
time.
beauty of their own hometowns. Seas of reeds embellish the terrain close to bodies of water, dancing with each gentle breeze. Inspired by the delicate balance of content and empty space which characterizes Chinese Shanshe landscape paintings, the team built an array of peaks and stone forests as a backdrop for prominent landmarks.
Okay.
The soothing scenery brought forward the name of the first piece of architecture we see in Liyue, the Wangshu Inn. Its design drew from the Wankong Temple, built into a cliff near Mount Hang in China. The environment
That's
art team
cool.
for MiHoYo mentioned how important it was for them to represent Chinese characteristics in front of a global player base. To achieve this, they compared
Yeah, that's the thing is like you don't really see a lot of that. That's why I'm excited to see that Wukong game, because like obviously is Dragon Ball Z is based off of that, so like you kind of have an idea of it, but I feel like it's like kind of underrepresented as like a mythology that like people are aware of or around here in the U.S. at least.
various landmarks and pieces of Chinese culture, and finally selected the area of Zhangjiajie as one of the main sources of inspiration.
That's so
I am
badass.
so sorry for butchering all of these Chinese words.
Yeah, I couldn't do any better.
Version 2.0 brought players the third large-scale
Oh my
region
God.
open to
Look
exploration.
at that.
Centered around the element Electro, the theme for Inazuma was eternity, a beautiful contrast to the short lifespan of lightning. Inspired by Japan, the region is located in the easternmost part of Tevyat, in a group of islands accessible only via the ocean.
Wow.
The vast landscape is dotted with painterly sakura blossoms, and high mountain peaks preside over the backdrop.
Yeah,
Grand
it's really
Narukami
nice.
Shrine, the region's largest, closely resembles traditional Japanese places of worship. Players get to walk through imposing torii gates and cleanse their hands on purification troughs. Lion-like statues resembling Japanese komainu act like shrine guardians, and fan, lotus, and cherry blossom imagery can be found all throughout Inazuma. The region's very name comes from Inadzuma, which means lightning in Japanese. These elements blend beautifully with an encompassing anime art style, creating an unique, almost austere atmosphere. MiHoYo put a lot of effort into making Inazuma a dream world for any anime fan out there, and I really believe they nailed it. Genshin Impact managed to beautifully balance the heavily stylized look with real-world architectural influences, but there's another layer to the design of Tevyat that makes the game environments truly unique. The 7 elements serve multiple purposes for the game mechanics, but they also influence the design quite heavily as well. Affiliation to the elements is present in every design choice, from the intricate costume design to VFX to the architecture itself. Mondstadt, the city of wind that we talked about earlier, is built on many different elevation levels with plenty of staircases, allowing its inhabitants.
Isn't there like one of the characters that like her lore is that a monster tried to eat her, but her ass was so fat that the monster choked to death and it died and she escaped? Yeah. Yeah, so that's the kind of game. Yeah. Holy moly, that's a great plot. I thought so too.
To glide from one wall to the other. The Anemo emblem of wind can be seen on many items, including the crest of the Knights of Favonius, the city's protecting chapter. The elements influence everything from unique talents to the appearance of the characters, even their personality. In most cultures, water symbolized the body, thus emotions. Hydro, or water characters in Genshin Impact, were designed to look soft, quiet, and empathetic. They feature big, bright eyes and soft facial expressions.
That's smart.
Their animations are graceful and flowy.
And see how they do this? Like, she doesn't really have cat ears, but if you want to imagine it, you can. That's a smart little subtle thing that they put in the game.
Soft facial expressions. Their animations are graceful and flowy. Pyros, on the other hand, look passionate and determined and are a little more spicy with their personalities. To solve the challenging issue of several cultural influences and references all mixed together, MiHoYo used the elemental system to bring everything together into a single cohesive world.
That's interesting.
The 7 elements used feel distinct enough for the player to feel compelled to keep exploring, but they are similar enough to make Tevyat into something original. The bread and butter of Genshin Impact. As a free-to-play game of such quality, Genshin Impact
Mainly
relies
the
on
bread.
the gacha system to turn a profit.
Yep.
The characters are the most desired type of content in the game, and much of the storytelling revolves around them. In addition, perfecting their appearance was the key element in order to achieve the desired anime style.
Oh, that's absolutely true. Like, I don't know how many times like I ever make a comment. Like I said, this is on Twitter. I went and I said, where's Twitter? I see if I find you guys what this is. I don't know where it is. Anyway, I said anybody who had Makima as a profile picture is a simp. And everybody knows that's true, right? I mean, it's not anybody, any dude that has her as a profile is a fucking simp. And I remember there were some fucking Genshin Impact profile pictures that took fucking great offense to this. And that's how much people like the characters, though, is they have this, like, this is their profile picture, that this is who they are.
Special attention was given to the shaders of the characters to ensure an authentic anime look. They hand-painted shadow masks specifically for the face, which they can later adjust automatically based on the direction of light. The position of the shadow can be artificially set based on the material settings, light intensity, and even mesh curvature. The color in the darkest areas can also be controlled by the color of the environment and at the artist's preference.
Oh
As
my
a result,
God.
the team spent copious amounts of time perfecting the concepts and making sure
Holy
that they not
shit.
only fit within the world, but also revealed critical details about the nature of the game. Each character features a complex
That's
set
all
of
of them?
past, present, and future interactions with the
Holy
world of
shit.
Pego. Each character has unique features and animations that distinguish them from the other characters. It is these core features that the team uses as guiding principles for the character design. In an installment of their developer notes series, MiHoYo revealed much of their thought process behind the creation of a character named Xiao. They drew inspiration from folk legends and religious stories and blended influences from Taoist deities, ancient Chinese spirits, Buddhist guardians, and mythological creatures. This result was a rich character with a unique set of values, drives, and personality traits. His outfit reflects a young, competent warrior that moves swiftly like the wind, which is his corresponding element. His accessories are all rooted in ancient Chinese tradition.
Is there like any character in Genshin Impact that's just like a big, hairy, muscly man? No. Okay. So they have fat people, but they don't have. Yeah. All right. That's. I see how it is. Yeah. Only. Oh. Yeah. Only NPCs. Okay. I got it. Not yet. Yeah. They need to add one of those.
The mask he wears in combat draws from Chinese exorcism masks. He wears a vajra, if I'm saying that right, at the neck and censer at the waist, two items ritualistically used to fight evil. Another great example of character design is Zhongli, the current vessel of the geogod Morax. He features a long ponytail, a deeply rooted Chinese symbol of social status. He has the scales on either side of his robe, which represent the emperor's power and adaptability. His design contains a lot of patterning, references to the 12 symbols of sovereignty introduced in the Zhao dynasty,
Jesus, they put a
exclusively
lot
worn
into
by the
this.
emperor. Barring
Holy
a few
shit.
characters, Genshin's character design rarely features actual armor, despite all playable characters being fighters. The focus on the design
Wonder
leans
why.
more on the visual appeal rather than practical considerations.
Yeah, I
Most
bet
outfits
that's
revolve
true.
around a predominant color, which generally signifies the element associated with that character. That color is then paired with shades of white or black, then a few splashes of accent color are added for more visual interest. The accessories are what sets most of their designs apart. These accessories mostly fit within a certain theme related to their nationality. Mondstadt characters have more dagger-like triangular shapes as embellishments with more belts. In contrast, the clothing of Liu Wei features plenty of Chinese knotting, thick cords, and tassels. Each elemental affiliation is also reflected in the character's movements. Wind characters feature quick movements that end in a slow, controlled manner. They are swift as the wind, but retain their gracefulness with every attack.
That's impressive.
Geo, or Earth characters,
Like, I mean, you gotta admit, like, they put a lot of fucking thought into this. Like, I didn't know it was this deep at all. Oh my god.
such as Zhongli, feature quick, imposing moves. Their power can be felt through the steady
No
way
wonder
that they
people
attack
waste
with
their
every move.
paycheck on
it's
this
almost
game.
like that they stay grounded. In order to further distinguish each character, the developers gave them unique abilities, which come with their own visual effects. These are heavily influenced by their corresponding element, but they retain some individuality and reflect some of the character's backstory. Razor, for example, was presented as an orphan who was raised by wolves. As a result, his
this is
elemental
alright.
burst in
Yeah, I
VFX
played this
shows
character.
a wolf spirit slaying
What's
his
a
enemies.
girl?
Barbara,
Oh.
one of my favorite characters, her ability shows a colorful burst of magical notes, telling of her habit of humming all over Mondstadt. All of
It's a
these
guy?
complex
Okay.
elements of culture,
Never mind.
inspired
Too good.
design, and technical art prowess are all perfectly blended together to create one cohesive, beautiful piece of art.
That's impressive,
So yeah,
man.
Genshin
Holy
Impact's pretty
shit.
cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say, I mean, that's impressive they put that much work into it. I didn't even really know that it was that deep. I thought that, again, it was just a Breath of the Wild knockoff, and like the, you know, the style was just because it was easy to make. I didn't know it was this much. Oh my god. Oh my god. That is just crazy. They didn't have a bald playable character yet, though? Yeah, of course not. Like, most of the people that play this game are kids, man. They don't want to have a bald guy in the game. That reminds them of their dad. Like, they don't want their dad in their game. Like, they played the game to get away from their dad. Okay, dad, leave me the fuck alone. I'm trying to play my game. Like, get the fuck away from me. Like, stop. Like, I'm not going to take out the garbage. Yeah, of course that's it. Yeah, 100%. This is a kid's game. A lot of young people play Genshin Impact. I think so. Obviously, like, it's not like only kids play Genshin Impact. Nah, there's plenty of grown-ass fucking men that play this game too. But the truth is, it does have a younger audience. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Let me see here. So dad playing the game? Yeah. It also, like, that's another thing, is like a dude comes in and plays this game. He doesn't want to be reminded the fact that he's fucking bald. Like, that's the last thing he wants to be. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a big, hairy, greasy, smelly man. Yeah. Average age is Tectone age, though? Yeah, I guess so. I think this is crazy. Like, I really like this video. This is really well put together. Hopefully he'd do more of these, and I'll watch them out. Yeah, that's it. Riot just released a cinematic for the first time. It's likes, past dislikes, past likes. I don't know. I'll look at that maybe if I want. I don't know. We'll see. Tectone is a representation. Yeah, Tectone's the average Genshin player. There you go. Yeah, Lucari and Tectone. That's the real face behind the player base. Yep, that's what it is. Uh-huh.
I don't know why he's laughing, dude. It's true.
A little get-together between friends, sipping the finest.
Apparently, there are like a lot of different videos about being in an E relationship with Hu Tao. I put it on the list to watch. My favorite part about these is finishing the video and then reading the comments, by the way.
いってらっしゃい。気をつけてね。あのさ、何か忘れてない？いってらっしゃいの9は？
And so let's read the comments now. Hu Tao, giving me the best moments of my life. Me who don't care as long as it's a waifu. I see this as an absolute win. For me, this is beyond a dream come true. It's so much more than that. I cannot stop watching Hu Tao's part. I want it to last forever. That's probably the best dream I've had in my entire life. This is a guy that wrote a poem about it. Oh, fuck, man. Jesus. This isn't a dream, it's heaven. And guys, these aren't just people, these aren't just like random comments. Like, I'm just reading them, pretty much going down the list, the ones that are interesting. Let's see here.
So many Genshin content about how to build characters. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to my complete Genshin Impact review and guide. Lore, summons, commentaries, reaction, Hu Tao kiss, all the usual, but I don't really see anyone document and record a recollection of the past. A part of me does feel sad knowing that the early versions and memories of what used to be my whole quarantine is dead. That Genshin is long gone, and you either don't know or weren't there when it happened.
There's 3 million other people that play the game back then? Holy shit.
So I will try my best to document what really happened and how it affects LeBron's legacy.
Experience with Genshin 1.0. This is... I thought Genshin 1.0 was called Breath of the Wild.
True.
This game came out at a time where everything was shit. Online classes.
Good evening and shit. It's like 10:49 p.m.
You got viruses and vitamins everywhere. Everyone's just fucking depressed.
Yeah.
No money. Staying inside all day.
I was so happy whenever COVID was happening because nobody ever wanted me to do anything. Like, nobody ever was like, hey, I've got a really great plan to ruin your Saturday. Why don't you come and be involved in my bullshit?
Well, that's just every year. And when we had just a few months left in 2020 to say goodbye and forget about all that happened, this Genshin. I don't really know what that says about me if my highlight of 2020 was a gacha game coming out, but hey, I'll take it. The release of Genshin really brought me back to a time where I was genuinely excited to play something rather than just playing a game because I have nothing to do.
Wow.
I got to Liwa in 1 day.
I'm assuming that's like a lot.
And the day after, I already maxed out the statue. Yeah, that's illness.
So like this guy, like basically, like was he pretty much like a loser? Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
PS4 players got exclusive weapons and gliders. A little bit of cross-platform discrimination, but I'll let that slide for how fun the game was for the first week. The map at the time felt like it stretches out all the way to China. If you enhance weapons, the leftover EXP just dies. And you actually had to
they
eat
fixed
food
that in
because
Honkai
your
Star
team
Rail.
didn't have a healer back then. Downloading the game was slow as shit.
Wait, what?
The leftover EXP just dies. Like, you don't even get any back.
Whatever.
You actually had to eat food because your team didn't have a healer back then.
That sounds fucking horrible.
Downloading the game was slow as shit.
That's
I remember
terrible.
the life hack was to pause and unpause to get your internet back. 120 resin. Classic. Sending your characters on an expedition made them unplayable in-game. You think I'm joking, but if you send Klee to the...
Are expeditions assignments in Honkai Star Rail? Yeah, okay.
Mines?
I was actually worried about that whenever because I would never want to use my main characters for the expeditions. Or not expeditions, whatever they are.
Literally in the mine, spending 20 hours for like what, 8 stone?
Yeah.
When somebody talked about their most hated or least played character, you would tell them to send them on expedition. Artifacts dropped on the floor, so every time you do a domain, you gotta pay respect to that shit like 10 times. And if you want to be the cause of someone's mental breakdown, here you go. Be the host. Now get an animo character with some suction. Now whip out that shit and suck all the artifacts into the void. Yeah. Leave right away.
Wait, so you could just you could actually lose the items if they just fell off the edge and just went away? Oh my god.
And you leave, everyone leaves. So you just -5 someone's life away because you got to realize back then nobody did.
It's so funny to me to hear people like this crying about a -5 minutes. Meanwhile, in World of Warcraft, every wipe is a -5 minutes.
Damage, so your average domain time was way longer compared to today. The game was also pretty buggy. I mean, that's to be expected.
That's normal.
But there was this venti bug where you hold E, open camera, hide character, and he just Y-axis indefinitely.
What?
Yeah, that's a thing. Once you've had enough, you just leave the camera and you would think, oh, he'll just be on the ground. No, he TPs to that location. Venti? No. Klee? Remember these limited banners? Klee's walk was actually changed. She got that marching band gait, you know. Why change walk if cute? Well, that's what I'm saying. On the topic of Klee, one of the classic Klee defining moments of this era that cement itself in Genshin history was the M-Tash trilogy.
M-Tash is like that one guy that that does videos. I hear Tectone talk about him sometimes.
Is Klee worth it? I spent $2,000 on Klee.
Wait a second. Didn't he? Fuck, where's the Jin Yuan one? Oh, fuck, I can't find it now. Oh, that's too bad. Everybody was really mad about this. Because people made a screenshot of Tectone saying that he didn't want to play the character, he didn't want to buy the character. And then like a day later, he made a video about why he was going to buy the character. He took it down. I didn't see it, dude.
Please. Sucks.
Wait. But oh my god. So it's the same exact thing. This is gacha content. History repeats itself. Gacha logic. So you have the excitement, the purchase, the regret. And a new character comes out and it just repeats itself.
This became one of the top Genshin posts on Reddit of all time to this day. Now that.
37,000 up
Tier list, anyone? No? So Genshin GG used to be that website you go to for information and guides, and they were okay, I guess. Nowadays, there's like a million Genshin GGs. They released this 1.0 tier list, and the thing with these tier lists is that every time there's just a minefield in the comment section. You can't please everybody, except this one. This one doesn't please anybody. It's not their fault. No one knew what was going on in 1.0. Take me, for example. 2 years in, and I still don't know what's going on. I found an old recording of me playing during these times. Just look at the way I played this fight out. Yeah, I think I'm esport ready. This was the day of physical Shangling and Fischl.
I don't know, it seemed pretty slow to me, but like, what the fuck do I know?
Damn it, you guys think it's troll, but back then, this shit was the Wild West. No artifacts, just spam attack on everything, and go. I'm not even kidding. Crescent Pike Shangling carried so many players back then. And let's not forget, when the banner looked like this. You see this guy right here? He was that guy back then. Ah, shit. No, he's summoning bubbles. Oh, hold up.
Oh shit.
Chill. What?
I remember whenever people always told me this would be the character that I would like.
He's just a bubble. Oh, hell no. Jesus, man. Why are you so mad?
God damn.
He throws out a
two-handed sword.
I gotta say though, I'm not into hot men. I like them much cooler. We also had an event where if you reach AR20,
wait, that was a girl? That was a guy?
I don't care what you guys say. Barbara is actually good. Elemental Crucible. Yeah, that fits. Our first gameplay event, and it was only co-op. You kill monsters, they drop cubes, put the cube in the oven, do it enough times and you win. Now, if you didn't play during those times, well, then that's really good. I'm so happy for you. But you know, back in the old days, we had to pay for everything, even for event rewards. Yeah, you want...
That sucks. That fucking sucks. God damn, that's awful.
Those heroes' wits?
And that's a 40 too, if you only have 120.
I think they're free nowadays, right? Not back then.
Not back then.
They weren't free.
Oh my god.
So what you're telling me is that they're basically ley lines with gameplay. Despite that, I had a ton of fun. I remember playing this shit like an MMORPG. Everyone played their shitty Diluc, Kaching, Venti. Oh, look at me. I want to be the main character. I want to do big damage. And looking at our team's draft, there was always a lack of support. And you know, me being the guy who doesn't want to spend 3 minutes just to fail and get nothing, I got locked into Barbara every game just to heal so they won't die. Now that's a classic. Now, if you aren't yet convulsing from all the nostalgia, it was around this time where conspiracy theories started to float around.
Alright, I say,
So you had a bunch of people go around and spread just a little bit of misinformation about chests respawning. You know, I was walking my dog on the roof of Avonia's headquarters when suddenly a golden chest just popped out of nowhere. This is definitely not my first time seeing it. And then people would take a picture and say, damn, infinite chest glitch.
I remember in WoW, I used to always spam that you had to relog in order for like an event to happen. And like you would see people disappearing and relogging, and then they would be like, don't relog, guys, it don't work. And I'm like, yeah, now it does though. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, try it. Yeah, relog, it's up. It can respawn, don't know the cooldown. Precious just do respawn. Oh my god. Let me guess, they don't respawn, do they? I'm guessing they don't. No. They never did. Right. The chest respawn part. What the fuck? This chest is not proof. Oh my god.
Or the one in the bank. Holy shit, this was everywhere at the time. So many people. Ayaka. Did you know? To celebrate Genshin, we decided to give out a free 5-star limited character. I
That's
repeat,
really good.
a free 5-star limited character. All
That's
you gotta
nice.
do is get AR-42, finish all the quests in Liwa, and Ayaka is yours. No catch, no strings attached. She doesn't expire after 30 days. There's also
Is that hard?
stemmed from the Chinese beta patch notes before the game
That
even
seems
came
good.
out globally. The people saw a post about a beta and assumed, well, I mean, if they did it in test, they'll do it in live. So you had a bunch of Reddit posts, YouTube videos, and just this
Rather legit, especially hyped. Being a free...
full of shit everywhere about free AR-42 Ayaka. I tried searching for videos, but knowing how big of a sham, all the Genshin tubers just got rid of them. So to summarize, the only thing you should get out of this is that you are not allowed to shit talk Ayaka. We got it for free.
You Genshin players won't remember when we got Ayaka for free at AR-42. You guys don't know that.
Did they get it for free or not? I bet they didn't. So somebody just made that up? So like, this is what's funny about it, is that like a lot of the people that played Genshin back then were like young kids, right? A lot of, and like even now, right? There's a lot of kids and young people that play Genshin Impact. And we can think back to the time whenever we were fishing underneath the fucking bridge in between Western Plaguelands and Eastern Plaguelands, thinking maybe we'll be the one that gets the Ashbringer. Maybe we will be the special boy. And it is so fucking funny to me that actually it's not that the internet has gotten better. It's just that we got older.
Child's lit, dude.
気づいても意味ないよ。拓に銀行が君たちの手に。うん、妙だな。わからない。手を出そうとした瞬間、水元素力が急に言うこと。まあいいや。ハードに神の目の元素力に頼れば鋭さを失ってしまう。それに俺には邪が。ああ、それは最近。もしかしたら俺も近頃体の内に何かの力がうずくような気がしてね。それになぜか時を。もしかして神の目愛も力と関係してるんじゃないか。確かにそうかもしれない。そうだな。君たちに言ったかどうか覚えてないけど、俺は14歳の頃、今の力はほとんどその時に習得したものさ。そういうことを俺に教えてくれた師匠がいて、彼女は口数が少なくて、とても不思議な人だった。どこから来たのか、何を、どうして俺を弟子にしてくれる気になったのか、一度聞いてみたこと。俺が奴を呼び覚まし、俺の身に奴の痕跡が残されたから。俺が、師匠はそれについてははっきり言わなかったんだ。けど俺、夢の中で俺は果てない海の底にいて、目の前には息が詰まるような迫力。そういえば、あれはただの元素力で作ったあの夢を見た時から、夢の中のあのシーンがずっと心に焼き付いていて。です入れたのよ。悪趣味だな。なんでないんだ。そしたら答えをそんな簡単に言わないでくれ。あの件以来、俺がスカーク師匠とあの深淵の捜索をやめたことはない。探し続けてもう何年も経つのに何も進展がないんだ。ああ、手がかりはすべて途絶えてしまった。仕方ないさ。おっと、いつの間にか話し込んじゃった。そういえばまだいや、個人的な用事さ。最近暇な時にフォンテーヌの決闘代理人たち。ああ、フォンテーヌじゃ容疑者が法廷に出向く前、名誉を守るためのチャンスとして。でも決闘代理人は国中の精鋭たちから選び抜かれた強い。だからこの行為は命を懸けて名誉を守ることの象徴とされてるんだ。勝てば審判を免れ、そして最悪の場合、決闘によってフォンテーヌには死刑が存在するという噂だけど、本当に死刑に処され、だからどうしても受け入れられない冤罪とか名誉が第一とか、こういった人だけが決闘を申し込むんだ。方法で審判を免れ。それはごくわずかだそうだよ。フォンテーヌの管理者がこんな規則を作ったのは、それに決闘代理人も伊達にその任についてるわけじゃない。これこそ俺が今日のクロリンでは噂じゃ決闘代理人の中でも最強らしい。ずっと挑発し続け。お前な。そうだ、これは君たちが持っててくれ。お前の神の目じゃない。この神の目がさっきみたいな状況になって決闘に影響したらつまらないだろう。だからいっそ持たないことにした。それに旅人に預かってもらいたいだけさ。後で取りに来るよ。
おいらわかったぞ。次においらたちに会うための口実が欲しいだけなんだろう。
そんなことないよ。
タルタリアンのやつが沈むとか言っておきながら、結局は
And this new game with young players, they're still just as stupid as we were. Yep. They're still just as fucking stupid.
That's not my problem. It's yours.
So back in
I
my
bet that's
day, there
porn.
was 3 ways to log into Genshin: email, username, and your phone. I signed up with the usual email and username, but you know me, I wanted more security, protection. Getting hacked and losing weeks of my progress?
Is that how they do it?
GG. So I linked my phone number to my account. One day I logged out of Genshin, and guess what happened? No, like seriously, guess what happened?
I don't know.
Right in the middle was my phone number. What? No blur, no towel, butt ass naked. Even if you sign up with an email or username, phone number is higher priority, so it shows it. Right there, in front of me, in the login screen. Hi, if anyone sees this, give me a call.
And I got. Let's not talk about that anymore. You should be able to claim it if you did the card on that account. Then you should be able to claim it.
Oh, the number is my phone number. I didn't realize. What the fuck?
I wouldn't say that. You wouldn't say. You shouldn't say that. You should just play it off.
Yeah, you got doxed. Link your phone number.
Yeah, I linked everything. Wow.
Jeez.
Okay, if you link your phone number, it just shows it.
They
What are you
fixed it.
talking
No,
about it
no.
for?
Optimize. Let's use their words. A month later, in a small 1.0.1 maintenance, they optimized the PC client to increase MiHoYo account security. Thank you, MiHoYo. Imagine being a streamer in 1.0 and you accidentally showed the title screen. Yeah, guys, the stream's not over, but my phone plan sure is. The game was new. There was a lot of bad things that were in the game that shouldn't have been there. But take everything I just said and get that shit out of here.
That'd be
I spent
bad.
hours downloading the game only to see Lumine get put in a box, and it was worth it. Waking up on that beach
Why'd they
like,
put her in a box?
man, where's my sister? Where is she jumping? Is he talking to a drag? Giving a homeless lady a chicken skewer that first time you walked into Mondstadt with that exaggerated swagger of a blonde traveler? Getting your wind glider? Oh,
Yeah, that zone looks really nice.
shit, what the heck? Meeting Kaya for the first
Oh
time.
my God.
Noelle greeting you the first time you opened up summons. Amber, Kaya, Lisa domain were a blast to play. This domain is literally a blast to play. Stealing a cup, giving it lotion. Remember when these guys were the scariest shit in the game? When you
Well,
couldn't.
I remember seeing, I think I even remember seeing videos like this where people would use these as like damage checks back then because they kept getting recommended to me.
Explore the Thousand Wind Temple because of this piece of shit. Holy shit, that island is so far away. Let me go and fly to it and check it out. I never made it. Or when you fell down and you found this dude only to realize that you're not supposed to be there. Or that one time
Wait.
you brought the Thousand Wind down and found this dude only.
Doesn't Tower of Fantasy have like
I never made it. Or when you
a boss is just like this? So is in an area that's just like this? Like the fire boss, yeah, Robarb or whatever. That's crazy. That is just wow. I can't believe Genshin stole that from them. That's incredible. What a surprise.
You fell down and you found this dude only to realize that you're not supposed to be there. Or that one time you brought someone to a cliff
And it was
killed
also
them.
like a flower type thing too. Oh my god.
Infiltrating cold people, trying out D-Luke for the first time, being in the
What the f-
ocean when
that's-
you're about to
what the
drown some
fuck?
people, trying out D-Luke for the first time,
Holy
being in
sh-
the
that's
ocean when you're about
badass.
to drown, so you go emergency food.
Damn.
No. Lisa climbing. That's actually a classic. Trying to figure out how to destroy these
Isn't that the one that moans a lot?
shitty dummies. Seeing this every time you open up the launcher, that feeling of being lost and clueless, always
Yeah.
switching an amber into the party so you can light puzzles and campfires. I am the bone of my
Wait.
into the party so you can light
Let me guess, you do a fire attack and it destroys the thorns? Guess what game had that?
puzzles and campfires. I am the bone of my I saw. There was no dragon spine. You had to walk everywhere. This was quite possibly the most menacing place to ever exist. Watching down Oculus videos and noting down every single one. Going to bed like, ah, shit. What is that stamina bar?
Wait.
Like, ah, shit. What is...
Oh my god. You know it. And wait a second.
Is that stamina?
And it required stamina. Just the exact fucking same. No, Tower Fantasy has the exact... They literally fucking... I never actually watched gameplay from Genshin to see this. This is lifted directly from fucking Genshin.
すまない。この必要な時は気が。友達か。もしリネ君が希望するなら、喜んで友達になろう。ごきげんよう。あえて光栄だ。二人の噂はかねがね伺っている。マナーにのっとり、私も自己紹介をしよう。私は、ヌビレットさん、公園に来てくれるなんて。何、リネ君。今話をしてたみたいだけど、もしかしてこの方は、フォンテーヌの最高審判官なんだ。ほら、あそこ。気にするな。最高審判官など、ただの仕事に過ぎない。一人一人に自分のポジションがあるように、私も特別なわけではない。それから、多少不本意ではあるが、さっきからずっと、当初の貴賓席からポーズを決めている奴がいる。君たちの目に初めて映った時に、最もかっこいいと思い込んでいる姿を見せたいがために気づいてやってくれ。でないと、落ち込んでしまうだろうから。
うわぁ、美人フリーな。
それはよかった。彼女のことは気にするな。
フォンテーヌの水人と最高審判官ってこんな。
さて、もう少し待っててくれるかい？もう準備はほとんど終わったよ。本日はお忙しい中、エピクレシス歌劇場へお越しいただきありがとうございます。こちらは僕の妹で、最も重要なアシスタントのリネットです。
こんにちは。気に言う。
皆さん、こう思っていませんか？自由にならば、ここに約束いた。私もリネットも、すでに神の目を外し。
なるほ
ど。もう待ちきれないという皆さんのため、どうか寂しがらないで。少しの我慢ですから。あ、それか、瞬きのタイミングは。マジシャンの極意は、有から無へ、無から有へ、千変万化を成し遂げること。近頃の観客はみんな伝統的なマジックなんてとうに見飽きている。僕が唯一無二であると証明するにはどうすればいい？ここで難題を一つ。 獄の中、この水の牢獄から妹の姿を消してみせましょう。そう難しくはない。人を泡に変え脱出させるだけ。道具の点検はあれほどしとけって。蓋が閉まれば空気でさえ出られない。初心者なら大慌てのところだ。幸い舞台にいるのはこの僕。真の実力をお見せしましょう。リネット、まだいるかい？あんまり離れないで。魔力が尽きたらバレちゃう。
ただいま。
私たちにマジックをありがとうございます。しかしこの不思議な旅は、転移と消失のマジックはまだまだ進化するんです。皆さん、リネットが助手であれば、ならば次のマジックはここ。さて、箱は全部で2つあります。勘の鋭い選ばれたら皆さん、ラッキーなお客さんが誰になるかはこの機会は。では始めますよ。どれどれ。さあ、彼女をマジック箱のそばへ連れて。箱の中の空間が狭くてごめんね。でもそのあなたはマジックがさて、60、59、58という暗い箱の中では何も見えませんから。20。おっと皆さん、だいぶ意地悪な表情ですね。60、59、60と、その私はこれは身分と。
真面目な。
リネさん、慌てないで。どこか変な場。どういうことだ。うっかり高速を。もうそれはダメだよ。やれやれ、なんだかカウントダウンがどんどん速くなってきてる気がしますが、あと10。準備はほぼ完了。いや、2人の位置を入れ替えるのは大掛かりだね。
This is super L, dude.
僕みたいな熟練の魔術師でも1回で成功できるかどうか。ねえねえ、僕は後ろに行けた？箱の中は同じだからわからないや。
Watching this just makes me want to end the stream and go to sleep, bro. This is trash. Oh my gosh, dude. Get this off my screen, bro.
ってことだ。
公演中止だ。医療室。君たちも慌てなくていい。何が起こったのかはすぐ把握できるだろう。不幸なことにマジックボックスにいた人はすでに息を引き取っていた。彼の名はポーエル。イネ魔術団のアシスタントの一人だ。舞台上の花火が水槽上、なぜ箱の中だが継続こうなれば連続勝利。
腕の立つ全能の魔術師イネ君こそが連続少女失踪事件の首謀者じゃ。
どうして僕が。これは完全。
全てはビッグショーの最中に起こったことだ。少女今にして
言い争いはそこまでだ。フリーナと今の発言。トリックの裏に
ここんさそこの異教の旅人よ。君は手を裂くそれがいずれ必ず君との決着はつくのクライマックスが遅かれ。
よかろう、旅人。君はイネ君の身分かった。イネ君と残りの関係。
一日
君たち。そっか。さっきはみんなの前だったが。ありがとう。周りから空体上の、それともこのトリックをよく理解している人でも。
怒ったならマジでかわいい。
とは言っても君が僕の。
よろしく。
あれか。
秘密はもう守れないと思うよ。
そうだな。でもこの秘密トリックを解説。
I'm actually gonna fall asleep right here, dude. Holy crap, I'm actually gonna fall asleep in my chair again, dude. Like I did in the chasm, bro. Holy shit. It's so boring. It makes me want to bash my head against the ceiling, dude. Makes me want to bash my head against the floor, bro. Oh my god, it's so boring. It's giving me an aneurysm, bro. Oh, no, the thing fell over. Oh, what the fuck? Get this shit out of my face, bro. It's like the worst part of Arkham Knight. You know what I mean, bro? It's like actually the worst part of any Arkham game. You guys told me Fontaine was peak, but you guys tripping. Oh my god, commissions reset, dude. I never even got this bullshit, dude. This shit's painfully boring, dude. This shit's like really bad, dude. Like this shit's offensively boring and bad, dude. Holy shit, dude. I gotta quit this game, bro. Offensively bad, bro. to rewatch all those cutscenes, bro. I mean, like, dude, it's the worst part of the Arkham games. It's like being in Batman vision mode and looking for clues and shit, you know? I like that Risley's gonna be in the story. I like that Child's gonna be in the story. If that's cool for you, it's cool. I don't like Paimon. Lenny's alright.